factor. Now, on the grassroots, they do exist today. There is a tension between Sunnis and Shiites. There is something that was created that now on the ground there is such a thing as a Sunni neighborhood and a Shiite neighborhood. Because there has been ethnic cleansing taking place for the last 5 years, for God's sake. There is tension on the ground between people who are Sunnis and people who are Shiites for the first time in Iraq's contemporary history. But this tension in the grassroots did not reach to the institutions. Unlike other countries, one can argue and say all of these sectarian and ethnic and tribal divisions are actually caused by foreign intervention that puts people against each other. So what? It didn't exist in 2003. It exists now. It always starts this way. But we are not there in Iraq. Lebanon is there. Lebanon, the intervention in Lebanon actually made something as a Sunni community with their politics. They are alone. Shiite community with their own politics. They are alone. Christians with their own politics, with their own supermarket, with their own street. In Iraq, this is not true. Until this moment in 2008, there are some Sunnis and some Shiites fighting against other Sunnis and other Shiites. I think the situation in Basra was actually an excellent example of how the dominant narrative in the US fails to explain Iraq and fails to understand how come 70% or 3/4 of the Iraqis want the US completely out? How come the majority of Iraqis, 3/4 of Iraqis, think that the situation will enhance after a complete US withdrawal? Because we don't understand how to judge, right? If it was really a sectarian war, I would say stay there to protect my uncles from my other uncles, right? But it's not. It's an occupation that has killed more than 1 million Iraqis in 5 years, according to many, more than one different source, and displaced 5 million Iraqis. We're not speaking about a peacekeeping force that is trying to build the country, for God's sake. We're speaking about a massacre caused by an illegal, unpopular foreign occupation. So while I understand that many people, have feeling of responsibility, I do have feeling of responsibility now. I live in the US and pay taxes. I'm funding this war that's killing Iraqis and Palestinians and Iranians soon. And I have a feeling of responsibility. But any feeling of responsibility cannot be fulfilled through prolonging a military occupation. We can't fix what the military occupation has done through prolonging the military occupation. And that, analysis of we broke it, we should fix it, doesn't work. It's closer to another, maybe an analogy. It's closer to a bull in the china shop. You can't ask the bull to fix the china shop. You first get it out of the china shop, then you write a check to the owner. So that's why I think the best way to help Iraq and the Iraqis is not through keeping our troops there a little bit, just to help them a little bit. Not at all. Iraqis want a complete withdrawal that leaves no permanent bases and no troops. The best way to help Iraqis is not to try to reconcile Sunnis and Shiites. They don't need us. They know how to reconcile themselves. Let's worry about reconciling Americans and Iraqis. That's our piece of the cake that we have to be worried about. Sunnis and Shiites, Arab and Kurds, they know how to reconcile themselves by themselves. Iraqi and Iranians, they know how to reconcile themselves by themselves. So the best way, the best gift to give to the Iraqis in general is to end this foreign intervention completely, not just the occupation. Any intervention in Iraq's domestic issues must end completely, and that's the first step. There are many other steps, maybe thousands of other steps that are pending. Help Iraqis in the reconstruction, help them help themselves, compensation, rehab, whatever we want to do, love and peace and all of these things. They are very important, but all of them are pending, waiting for the first step to be taken. And the first step is a complete withdrawal that leaves no permanent basis. I will end my note by quoting a colleague of mine. In fact, she's my boss. She worked with indigenous American tribes, with Indian Americans, for a few years before now working on Iraq more. And then she told me this funny story that I thought that it fits on Iraq as well. That the Congress once wanted to pass this resolution to apologize for the Indian Americans. It's like an apology. So she went to one of these, tribal leaders and asked him, "Do you think it's a good idea?" And then he said, "Well, the last time I checked, when you step on someone's toe or foot on the bus, you first remove your foot, then you apologize." So I think this fits with Iraq. We first remove our foot, then we apologize. Thank you.